going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's Friday. My dad is back up here with the Camaro. If you guys follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, you saw that he took that thing out to the track last weekend for the first time. I was out of town. I was in Reno for Street Vibrations working that, and I was not able to be there, but he was only able to get about 100-foot hit in. He said once the car got warm and got it actually, up to some RPM, the thing was just popping and banging and backfiring and not running correctly. So he was able to launch. I don't even know at what RPM he launched at, but was able to get about 100 feet in. Then he shut it off and coasted down the rest of the track. I'll put that video in right here. So we called in a few favors right after that. We double checked timing. My dad's car has the 5.7 swap cam in it, so we double checked spark plug wires, made sure everything was routed correctly. And everything seemed to be fine. We thought maybe, we called MSD and they thought that maybe the 6AL box in there wasn't enough spark for what we were working with. So my dad decided to call it, head back to Nevada and dig into it further there at the house, so we weren't, potentially hurting anything with the motor. So he gets home, digs right into it, takes the spark plug out, and the first thing he notices is that a few of the straps were hitting the pistons, or the pistons were coming up and hitting the straps and closing the spark plug gap. So we knew that wasn't good. So he double checked the indexing washers and all that kind of stuff, and double checked he was running the correct spark plugs, which he was. They were recommended by AFR. But he did some research, went ahead and ordered some racing spark plugs. I think they're Champions. I'd have to double check with them, but they're racing spark plugs, so the strap's already cut, similar to what he used to run in his funny car back in the day. So he went ahead and threw those in, and then he also ordered and put in a 7AL-3 MSD box. So it's a step up from the 6AL Plus that I have and what he was running as well. I'd have to have some help pulling this hood off, but under there is the new racing coil as well. So he put those two things in, and he got it all buttoned up before he came back up here, and he said the thing sounded amazing. And sure enough, we started it up yesterday, and instantly I could tell as soon as it started how much better it sounded. So still throaty, still choppy with that cam, just not as much pinging and stuff like that. None of that sound anymore. So we're gonna head back out to the track tomorrow. We're gonna take the Nova this time, and yeah, we'll see if the Camaro runs any better this weekend. All right, everybody, so we made it to the track. We're all unloaded. The weather's perfect today. It's going to be sunny and about 70 degrees as a high. And we might be setting some ET bests on the Nova today. And hopefully the Camaro runs a bunch better than it did last weekend. So we're going to go hop in the tech line and get that out of the way. Alrighty, we're in the staging lanes for the first test pass. I'm right behind my dad. We'll be watching him from right behind just in case. I don't think he's going to go all the way, of course. He's just going to do a little hit, maybe to the 8th mile and let out. And we'll see how rusty I am after not being out here for about a month. So, it's going to be good. first runs are done. As you just saw, my dad's struggling a little bit still. We don't know if it's fueling or what. He just says it doesn't feel like it has any power. I may go drive it too just to see what he's talking about, but I don't know if it's fueling or if maybe something in the converter's messed up. I'm not too sure yet. The converter was came with the car. That's really the only thing he hasn't bought for it. So we're gonna go over some electrical things, some fueling things, and see if we can get it figured out. My run was good. I need to work on the light a little bit. I'm gonna add a shim to the Terminator trans brake button, but other than that, 1092 at 122 I think is what it was. Second run's done. Definitely better, which is sweet. We went over a few things, had the motor guy that does the motors for my dad and I on the phone. Double checked a few things that he wanted us to check, and those were all good. So I had mentioned, I'm like, hey, what if we just pull out the trans brake limiter and then the burnout limiter and just have the 7,000 RPM, car limiter, the race limiter, and see if that does anything. So we took those pills out of the new ignition box. He went down to the lower pits down there, and it seemed to pull through, the power, everything just fine, like it was ripping. So he went up and just tried that. Sounds like he was a little nervous and accidentally left in second gear, so that's why it looked a little lazy, but definitely steps in the right direction. So it sounds like we're going to keep everything the same. He's just going to leave off of foot brake again this time in first gear, and we'll see how this one goes. That was also pretty sweet lining up with my dad. I don't know how long he's been waiting for something like that to happen. All right, everybody, we're finished up here for today. That last pass was another step up for my dad. He left off the trans brake, but only at 2,500, 3,000 RPM. Left good. Said if everything felt and sounded better. He lifted right past the eighth, but he went 100 mile an hour in the eighth. So, for not launching it that hard, that's a pretty good time. So he's happy with that. We're still going to go diagnose why when we have those trans brake and the burnout pills in there, why it's hitting some sort of limiter that shouldn't be there. It's probably just our wiring or something like that, but we'll figure it out. Nova ran good today too. All 1090s, low 1090s, and I slept on the tree on that last one for some reason, but we'll be back out here in a couple of days racing actually for a trailer for our club runoff. So stay tuned and we'll see you guys then. Alright, so before we end the video off, I thought I'd give everybody an update. Today's Sunday, so yesterday was a test day, and after they had already closed the staging lanes for the day, we were still going over some wiring in the Camaro, and I had noticed that we had 2 wires backwards on the trans brake button. So what was happening was we would hit the trans brake button either on the starting line or in the pits to go into reverse, and it would limit the car to 3,000 RPM, but because we had the wire backwards, basically it wasn't turning off that 12-volt source to that limiter. So the 3000 pill was just activated any time after my dad hit the trans brake button, which he did to go in reverse, like I said, in the pits to head up to the staging lanes or whatever. So I swapped the wires around to where basically that pill's only activated when the trans brake button is activated, and as soon as he lets go, that pill is no longer, or that limiter is no longer activated. So we went down in the lower pits right after I found that out. We swapped the wires, and everything seems to be working properly now. So it's not limiting it anymore, only when the trans brake button is pushed down. So unfortunately, we figured all that out after they had already closed the staging lanes, but we have 1 or 2 more tries this year before the season's over. So I think next time we go out, we're really gonna be able to start putting the beans to her. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you at the next video.